If you are a Virgo rising, I know you are so good at staying composed that people don't realize how much you are actually carrying. In 2026, you finally stop doing it all alone. This is a deep rebalancing year. Let's talk about why. This is the 2026 full year forecast for Virgo Rising. In Astrofusion Lab, we read from the rising sign perspective because it shows how astrology lands in real life through relationships, work, money decisions, and the internal response to all of it. And make sure you stick around until the end. I'm going to share a specific timing technique that will tell you exactly which part of this forecast matters most for your specific age. This is a collective forecast. Also, exact times can vary a bit by location and time zone, so use the dates as anchors. For Virgo Rising, 2026 is a deep rebalancing year, where intimacy, trust, and shared resources become the places you can't avoid getting honest. This isn't just about other people. It's about what you're tied to, what you're carrying, what you've been managing quietly, and what kind of support you're willing to receive instead of doing everything yourself. And in 2026, that's the lesson. You don't have to control everything to be safe. You have to build cleaner agreements, financially, emotionally, and energetically. This can be a powerful year for healing, but it starts with honesty. As a Virgo rising, your chart ruler is Mercury. So Mercury sets the tone for how you move through 2026. Your mindset, your decisions, your timing, and the way you navigate change through strategy and skill. But Virgo's Mercury has a specific flavor. It isn't just quick thinking, it's precision, it's problem solving, it's the instinct to improve what's not working. And when Mercury is under stress, Virgo rising can feel it as mental pressure, overanalysis, or feeling like you have to figure everything out before you move. So, in 2026, one of the biggest growth points is learning when to refine and when to release control. Early January is a good example of how Mercury can feel this year. On January 1st, Mercury squares Neptune, and that can bring fog or mixed signals. So if something feels unclear, your best move is to slow down and verify the facts instead of trying to force a perfect plan. Then Mercury enters Capricorn on January 1st, and that's a helpful shift. Your thinking gets more grounded and practical. It becomes easier to prioritize, organize, and make decisions based on what's real. On January 14th, Mercury opposes Jupiter, and that can exaggerate bigger ideas, bigger promises, bigger opinions. The upside is vision. The caution is overcommitting. On January 18th, Mercury conjoins Mars, and that's sharp, fast mental energy. Great for decisive action, fixing problems, and moving quickly. Just watch the impulse to correct people or react too quickly in conversation. On January 20th, Mercury sextiles Neptune, which is the clearer version of Mercury-Neptune. This can support intuition, creativity, and compassionate conversations, as long as you keep it grounded. And on January 22nd, Mercury conjoins Pluto, which brings depth. This is a powerful window for research, truth-telling, shadow work, and finally naming the thing you've been trying to avoid. If you use Mercury well this year, the theme is simple: clarity over control. Choose what's true, not what's perfect. The headline transit for Virgo rising in 2026 is Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries and activating your 8th house. Shared money, debt, taxes, inheritance, trust, intimacy, and the emotional weight of entanglement. Here are the key timing anchors. Neptune enters Aries on January 26th at the very first degree. Saturn enters Aries on February 13th, and then they meet. Saturn conjunct Neptune on February 20th. For Virgo rising, the 8th house is one of the most intense places in the chart, not because it's bad, but because it deals with what isn't fully yours to control. It's the house of shared resources and shared vulnerabilities. Neptune here can blur financial or emotional boundaries. It can make you realize where you've been carrying someone else's weight or where an agreement has been too vague. Saturn here demands clarity. It asks you to define what's shared, what's owed, what's fair, and what needs structure so you're not guessing. And a dignity note that matters. Saturn is in fall in Aries, so the Saturn part can feel irritating at first, like you want a clean answer quickly, but the work requires patience and responsibility. Still, this is one of the best transits for getting serious about financial maturity and emotional boundaries. So, for Virgo Rising, early 2026 can bring the grown-up conversations about money, trust, intimacy, and support. The goal isn't to become guarded. The goal is to become clear. If you've been asking the big questions, can I trust this? Is this sustainable? What am I responsible for? Late January through February is one of your clearest initiation windows. Now here's the second major shift of 2026 for Virgo Rising, and it's very public. On April 25th, Uranus leaves Taurus and enters Gemini. For Virgo Rising, that activates your 10th house, career, reputation, visibility, and the role you're known for. Uranus in the 10th can feel like a sudden career awakening. Sometimes it's an unexpected opportunity. Sometimes it's a break from an outdated role. Sometimes it's a pivot you didn't plan, but you can't ignore anymore. This is also a transit that changes your relationship with authority. You may feel less willing to play by rules that don't make sense, and more willing to define success on your own terms. It can be disruptive if you cling to the old structure, but it can be liberating if you let it update your direction. A specific warning for your career. Mark this date, July 4th. Mars meets Uranus in your 10th house of public reputation. This is high-voltage energy at work. It can look like a sudden opportunity, but it can also look like a conflict with authority or a PR flashpoint. It is not the week to rage quit or speak impulsively in a public forum. So, if 2026 has a career question for Virgo Rising, it's this. What kind of work actually fits the person you're becoming? And what needs to change so your public life reflects your real values? Now let's talk eclipses, because this is where the year tends to course correct you. First, the Aquarius and Leo eclipses. The solar eclipse in Aquarius happens on February 17th at 29 degrees, and the solar eclipse in Leo happens on August 12th at 20 degrees. For Virgo Rising, Aquarius is your 6th house, traditionally called bad fortune, workload, obligations, stress, health maintenance, and the routines that keep life running. Leo is your 12th house, rest, retreat, hidden stress, and burnout patterns. So this axis is very practical: work and health, effort and recovery. It's the place where Virgo Rising learns that productivity isn't the same thing as wellness. If your daily systems aren't sustainable, the body will eventually force a correction. Second, the Virgo and Pisces eclipses. The lunar eclipse in Virgo happens on March 3rd at 13 degrees, and the lunar eclipse in Pisces happens on August 28th at 5 degrees. For Virgo Rising, Virgo is your 1st house, the helm, identity, body, vitality, and direction. Pisces is your 7th house, partners, contracts, and committed relationships. So, the second axis is identity and partnership. It can bring relationship turning points, renegotiations, or a clearer understanding of what kind of partnership actually supports you. It also asks a big question. Are you shaping your life around who you truly are now, or around who you have to be to keep the relationship stable? On August 18th, 2026, the lunar nodes change signs. The North Node leaves Pisces and enters Aquarius, and the South Node leaves Virgo and enters Leo. For Virgo Rising, that lands across your 6th and 12th houses, so it reinforces the work, health, rest storyline for the rest of the year. With the North Node moving through Aquarius, growth pulls you toward better systems, cleaner routines, smarter work habits, and a more sustainable relationship with your time and energy. It's about building structures that support you instead of draining you. And with the South Node in Leo in your 12th house, there's a release around burnout patterns, hidden stress, and the tendency to carry things privately until you hit a wall. This is a year where solitude can be healing, but isolation can be harmful. If you've been asking, what should I focus on? After mid-August, it gets clearer. Build routines that protect your energy and stop sacrificing your health for momentum. Pluto continues moving through Aquarius, and for Virgo rising, that's your 6th house. Work, health, routines, obligations, and the systems that keep life running. This is a long transit, so it's not a one-year story. But in 2026, you can feel what it's doing. It's changing how you relate to effort. Pluto in the 6th can expose where your work patterns are compulsive, where you're over-functioning, or where you've been using productivity as a way to avoid something deeper. It can also bring deep transformation around health, less in a quick fix way and more in a root cause way. This is where Virgo rising learns a powerful truth. Discipline isn't punishment, it's devotion. And when your routines are aligned, your life becomes less stressful, not more. Jupiter is a supporting co-star in 2026, and for Virgo rising, it helps answer a big question. Where does growth come from, and when does life start to feel more supportive? A key timing anchor is June 30th, when Jupiter enters Leo. For the first half of the year, Jupiter is moving through Cancer, which is your 11th house, traditionally called good spirit, where Jupiter rejoices. So Jupiter is actually very comfortable here. This can bring support through friends, allies, community, patrons, networking, and long-term goals. It's one of the better signatures for meeting the right people, getting help, and feeling like you don't have to do everything alone. Then, on June 30th, Jupiter enters Leo and moves into your 12th house. That shift is quieter. It can support healing, retreat, and behind-the-scenes preparation. It's less about public wins and more about restoring energy, closing out cycles, and building something privately before you reveal it. However, watch for mid-July. Around July 20th, Jupiter in your sector of rest opposes Pluto in your sector of work, 6th house. This is a peak burnout versus retreat moment. If you've been grinding too hard, your body may demand a break. Listen to it before it forces the issue. So, the pattern is simple. First, you grow through community and support, and then you grow through recovery and inner restoration. Late in the year, Venus goes retrograde, and for Virgo rising, this is one of the clearest timing windows for money questions, values, and the way your daily mindset shapes your decisions. Venus stations retrograde on October 3rd at 8 degrees Scorpio, and then Venus stations direct on November 13th at 23 degrees Libra. For Virgo rising, this retrograde storyline moves across your 3rd and 2nd houses. Scorpio is your 3rd house, daily life, communication, learning, siblings, and the mental patterns you live inside of. Libra is your 2nd house, money, income, possessions, and self-worth. A dignity note that matters. Venus in Scorpio is traditionally in detriment, so the retrograde phase can feel intense or fixated mentally. It can bring old thought patterns back up for review, and it can make it obvious where you've been over-investing in something that doesn't actually return value, emotionally or financially. Then, when Venus turns direct in Libra, where Venus is in domicile, things usually get clearer and more balanced. This is often a better window for clean financial decisions, renegotiating what you're paid, and realigning your spending with what you actually value. So, for Virgo rising, this is a season where love and money both tie back to self-worth. Not in an abstract way, in a practical way. What you choose, what you tolerate, and what you invest in becomes a mirror. Before we close, I want to add one timing technique from traditional astrology that makes the year feel much more personal: annual profections. Each year of life activates a house. That house becomes the main topic of the year, and its ruler becomes your Time Lord, the planet that helps tell the story of how the year unfolds. Profections are counted from your birthday to your next birthday. For Virgo rising, here's the profection map. Find your age. How to use this. If your perfection house lines up with the loud themes in the forecast, especially the 6th, 8th, 10th, or 12th, those topics tend to feel more personal, and timing tends to show up more clearly. To pull it all together, 2026 is a year where your routines, your relationships, and your responsibilities all get more honest. Late January through February sets the tone as Saturn and Neptune enter Aries and activate your 8th house, reshaping shared resources, trust, intimacy, and financial agreements. Late April brings Uranus into your 10th, updating career direction and pushing you toward a more authentic public path. The eclipses and the nodal shift emphasize work and health, rest and recovery, and the balance between identity and partnership. Jupiter supports you early through community and allies, and later through recovery and behind-the-scenes growth. And Venus retrograde in the fall asks you to rethink money and self-worth, and to make choices that reflect what you truly value. If you keep it simple, protect your energy, make cleaner agreements, and let your life be built on what's sustainable, not what's perfect. This has been your 2026 full-year forecast for Virgo Rising from Astro Lab, where ancient astrology meets modern psychological insight. Each month, we'll come back to these themes and track how they unfold in real time.